Hi everybody. It's 6 p.m. That means it's go time. Welcome to the Pleasuredome. A lot of people have been asking, what is Pleasuredome? They're really intrigued by it. And it is a totally immersive 1980s musical experience. It's a piece of theatre, original theatre, using some of that great music that we all loved in the 1980s. But we've put the band back together. We've got Michael Hurst, who was on Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena, and directed Spartacus, all these other things. One of our favourite directors of all time. With Rob Tappert, who wrote it, conceived of the idea, and Mark Beasley, and me and a few other favourites. And we're creating this very special environment. It's never been done before. It's kind of like a theme park for Studio 54. You know, for all those kids who never got to go there, and everybody in this room, we never got to go because we were, 15 and living in New Zealand. But we're going to take you back in time. You're going to enter into the building in this kind of nondescript area in Auckland, New Zealand, where we're having our world premiere. And you go through a subway tunnel and you come out in 1980s New York. You know, before it got all cleaned up, when Limelight's Paradise Garage, Studio 54 were up and running, you're going to come out into this beautiful street, this lovely nightscape of New York. We have bars, we have, there's street art, there's food, street food, all that great stuff from New York. And at the very end of the street is the Pleasuredome, our nightclub. And in there, it's immense. The scale of this is like nothing you've ever seen before. And in there is just a wonderful world of glamour and some bad behavior, glorified bad behavior. And if you remember, in the 80s, there was a great deal of sort of famed drug use, and we're inhabiting that world of people who gave everything, their health, their beauty, their entire well-being, to style, glamour, substance abuse, and how it all goes horribly wrong. So, to wit, I am playing Sappho, this nightclub diva. She's not like a Janet Jackson diva. She's more like Mariah Carey. She just gets carried around and eats bonbons. And she falls madly in love with the very hot daughter of a kind of a hideous New York property developer who's wanting to swallow up this property and put his name in great big gold letters on top of some ugly building, I guess. And we've got to save the club from this guy. Meanwhile, his daughter, Lilith, is her fiancé is a good-looking young man who's hiding his own past. So we're going to bring you into this very glamorous, gorgeous world where there are dancers, there's glitter, there's DJs, there's drug pushers, there's hoes, there's transsexuals, there's all those denizens of that fabulous 80s nightclub scene. And you get to come in and you get to participate. So you don't just sit in your chair and have us roll out entertainment, unless you want those seats, they do exist. But for others, there are tables, there's a disco pit, which is the best seats in the house. They're not seats, but it's where you get to dress up, you get to dance the night away, and you are actually encouraged to be part of the show. You're going to have to come and see. So, if you can't be down here in Auckland, New Zealand for our world premiere, be looking for it to come to a city near you in the next few years, because this kind of party in this world that's really kind of a bit bleak, isn't it? Every time I turn on the news, so depressing. We're going to bring you something uplifting, something joyful, something that's about inclusion, something that's about respect, something that's about goodness and remembrance and living for today. So that is Pleasuredome, and you couldn't really have a Pleasuredome if you didn't get that one great song by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which says it all. And we got the song. It is Welcome to the Pleasuredome. Let me take you there.
That's great, Lucy. So,
oh, hello. Oh, where'd you come from?
God.
Jeez.
Hi. We just got some questions. So,
yeah.
What songs bring you the most comfort during a dark time?
I like that. I like that disco because it is so just naturally uplifting. Like if I have to actually run on a treadmill, and it doesn't happen often, but that kind of music can really like carry you along, right? It's things that are up tempo, a bit romantic. I'm a bit of a goofball secretly, or maybe it's not a secret. I don't know. But yeah, this is kind of disco and funk because it's grungy, it gets you moving. We've got a lot of funk in this show, so we're going to take you somewhere that you didn't dream you were going to go because you thought you missed out. Guess what? You didn't.
And someone's asking about the costumes because you look so gorgeous in your coat.
Oh my little coat. Well, we have an amazing designer called Adrian Halewood, and this is an enormous space. Our stage is a very unusual shape. It's all in and around the audience. So we have to have costumes that inhabit, that fill that space with colour, with enormous scale. So Adrian is having to move away from his fashion roots and do design on a grand scale so that we can wow you in the way that this is solid gold on steroids.
And someone's asking about the dancers and...
Oh my God, the dancers. I bet this is one of the dancers writing it. We have the most phenomenal team of dancers. Some of them I worked with on Chicago with Michael Hurst directing for Auckland Theatre Company a few years ago. And a bunch of new people, they are very aware that this is such an unusual project because it's new, it's never been done before, so the choreography isn't set, where it's being devised as we go. So if you go back and look at all those old 80s movies, they're great, but it's a bit slow, and the dancing isn't that impressive because a modern audience has come to expect just so much more sophistication. Their expectations are way higher than they were in the 80s. So we're having to take all that style and soup it up, really supercharge it for a modern audience.
Someone's asking about who else is in the show, Lucy.
We've got Moses Mackay. Now Moses he's this incredible Samoan singer who is part of a group called Sole Mio, and they do a lot of opera. It's an opera trio, but that guy can sing R&B and funk like very few other people. The only other guy, and we've been working with him this week, is Vince Harder. And you would have seen him on my feed doing a little intro, but he moves me, and he's playing JR, the drug dealer. He's kind of like the king. He brings the party everywhere he goes. He's got a crew hanging with him. They're the bad boys, and he's got a thing for Sappho because she's the alpha female and he's the alpha male. And if he can dominate the alpha female, I know this from life, then he's truly the alphaist of all the males, right? So he's got this thing, he wants to get her in his clutches. You can have all the women in the world, but he's having trouble nabbing her, and we'll see why.
Brilliant. The last question we will answer is, what is your favourite moment playing Sappho?
I forgot to say, my favourite moment playing Sappho is that I get to act with this incredible actress, Ashley Taylor, who she's been in Miss Saigon and American Idiot in Sydney and Melbourne, I think, an Aussie performer. She's a phenomenal singer, and she is playing Lilith, who is Victor Bella Victor's gorgeous daughter, and I'm very excited to work with her. I'm slightly, my character's somewhat attracted to her, shall we say, and she's a little younger than me. It was like, oh, I feel weird about that. But she's a brilliant performer. She's not as young as she looks. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Will Sappho get the girl? I don't know. It's a musical, but it's a modern musical. Could go horribly wrong.
And Lucy, finally, where can people get tickets?
You can get tickets on Ticketek. Like I said, there's arena seating, and there are tables, but the big secret, my big secret of the night is that the best seats in the house are the standing room only, because you're right down the front, you're part of the show, your chin is right there at the performer's knee, and you can party like there's no tomorrow.
Great, well thank you, Lucy.
That's my tip.
Great.